So this is problem 914 from chapter 9, problem 14. The chapter 9 is called capital budgeting techniques, and so we have various measures to analyze projects and determine whether or not they will add value to the firm. So among those is net present value, which is not requested here, but we're going to go ahead and calculate it. And then internal rate of return, which is the most widely used, but internal rate of return is flawed because of a couple of assumptions. One assumption is that you're able to reinvest the cash flows at that rate, which is not always realistic. And so we have what's called modified internal rate of return. I'll demonstrate these in class on the calculator, but I'm going to do it exclusively in Excel here. So what is the internal rate of return, or IRR, for a project that costs $6,330 and expected to generate $1,800 per year for the next 5 years? The firm's required rate of return is 8.5%. What is the project's modified internal return, and should the firm purchase the project? So first what I'm going to do is NPV, or net present value. So we do equals NPV, and then first thing we enter is the rate, and then comma. Now we select the range. So for NPV, we're going to select everything after the initial cash flow, and then we need to add back the initial cash flow because it's a negative. It'll reduce the present. NPV calculates the present value of these cash flows, and then we add back the cost. And if it's positive, then we would invest in the project. So in this case, it's $763.16. So when we calculate the IRR, we know that the IRR is going to be greater than 8.5%. So, but IRR is equals IRR, and we simply highlight everything. And we back the guess there is from back when computers weren't as capable as they are today. We can now we don't eliminate the guess; it's optional. So we'll add a couple. It comes out as a percent, 13.01%. Obviously, considerably greater. But again, that assumption that the cash flows can be reinvested is not always realistic. So we have the modified internal rate of return. So, and again, equals MIRR. So we first thing to do is highlight the values, but then we have a finance rate and reinvest rate. So for all the problems that we'll work in this class, everything's going to be the same, but to do the modified internal rate of return, we're going to have to enter our required rate of return twice. So there are some instances where the finance rate and the reinvest rate might be different. And actually, in a lot of cases, if you think about it, a company, what it costs them to borrow is more than it costs them than they're able to reinvest. So, in some instances, so modified internal return. So our expectation is that the modified internal rate of return should be between the IRR and the rate of return on the investment, since we have a positive NPV. So 11%, and we'll add decimals to that. Whoops. So 11.00%. So here we've calculated an NPV and the IRR, and in all cases, the signs for the project are positive, and this firm should purchase the project. If we had a negative NPV or not internal, these rates were below the required rate of return, we would actually reduce the value of the firm by investing in the project.